So what is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So welcome to my review of Journey to the West Star Wars. So this episode starts off with the introduction of the new character Pansy, wondering why Goku is so powerful. And of course, Goku, the budding Jedi, mentions it's because he trained. And what I find very, very interesting about this is that a lot of people don't realize this, but Dragon Ball is based on a type of media that centers around the concept of spiritual cultivation. That's the reason that Goku gets stronger as his chi grows. That's the reason he trains with a bunch of different gods who teach him very profound martial arts based lessons, is because, and there's other media like this, but Dragon Ball falls into that category of martial arts based media that is centered around the idea of getting stronger through spiritual cultivation, because that is the underlying theme of martial arts as a whole, even in real life, due to the inspirations coming from old Taoist and Buddhist knowledge. Even like Jedi are the same thing. They gain their powers as a result of tapping into a mindset or a set of principles that allows them to more easily harness the Force and use it. But what I love about that is Goku is so simple-minded as a character, and this just kind of reflects the effect that Grandpa Gohan had on Goku. And what makes his character so charming is the fact that he is so simple-minded that he doesn't even understand that he is the prime candidate for spiritual cultivation due to starting on the end of the spectrum that favors your ability to use abilities such as chi manipulation, flight, and things of that nature. Goku himself is not even consciously aware of the fact that he is so adept at using these abilities, not only due to his heritage and what he is as a creature, but also his mindset, his nature as an individual leans into what it takes to use these abilities correctly and proficiently. That's the reason that he is so adept and quick to use Ultra Instinct, because Goku, due to his nature, is inclined to fall into developing himself spiritually and cultivating his energy, because he is a pure-hearted, simple-minded creature who dedicates himself to the practice of martial arts, or Gung Fu, which is really just spiritual cultivation in disguise in media such as Dragon Ball or Star Wars. That's why on the surface, Goku being so simple-minded seems like, just a reinforcement of that being a part of Goku's character traits, but really what this is they are low-key telling you that despite the fact that Goku gains all these extraordinary abilities and spiritual insight as a result of his training, the way Goku looks at it is just training. So it seems at least once every episode they bring up the ears being round or pointy or whatever. And when Pansy asks Goku what race he is, he of course deadpan just tells her the truth, that he is a Saiyan. But what's very, very interesting about that is when Pansy asks Goku if he's from the demon world, Glorio mentions that Goku is from the second demon realm. Now this could be some covert hinting at stuff. I'm not exactly sure that that's the case. It would be very interesting if that was the case, and they are essentially telling us that Goku is from the second demon realm, because I had speculated that he's from the third demon realm. But it would be very, very interesting if this is like a hint at what's going to happen in the future. So during Pansy's journey back to the castle, she asks Goku what kind of magic he's good at. And Pansy tells Goku that every Majin can use at least one magic spell, which seems to suggest that they are naturally adept at magic, but also that the development that they go through as demons, which I've repeated over and over and over again in videos, is a combination of science and magic in comparison to the Kai, where magic is forbidden. That seems to suggest that due to the influence of the developmental process of the Makaioshin and the beings and the process that they use to develop Majin in the demon realm, that they are naturally adept at magic and has some sort of magical essence that is not present within the development of mortals in Universe 7, which means that at a base level, the demons in the demon realm are more talented and more adept at using magic. This causes Pansy to show off her potential as a Jedi, and she uses the Force to lift up a stone in front of Shin and Goku. Now, we find out a few moments later that Pansy's actual specialty is tinkering with machines. And something that I caught on to, which I'll talk about here in a few more minutes, is the fact that Pansy is essentially like the character themes of Chi-Chi and Bulma wrapped into one package. So, after the conversation surrounding Pansy as a magic user and all that cool stuff, Pansy starts to question Shin about his background, about his species. He talks about how he is in fact a Glend because she asks if he's a Glend. And it turns out that most of the Glens, like the Namekians, left to the outside world a long time ago. Now, I don't know if you've caught on to this, but they are essentially giving Shin a very, 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 very similar backstory to Piccolo, and I do not think that that is a coincidence. I think that the Kai, the Glend, and the Namekians likely both come from the same demon realm and have a very, very strong connection that we have not been made aware of yet. Now, this is a good time to talk about what I think the difference is between demons like Pansy and demons like Shin. Now, Pansy talks about here in a few minutes about how she's in her 80s, and that's still a child in the demon realm because they can live up to 1,000. So she's still technically a child. She's just way older because she's a demon and they live for a longer amount of time. And you can apply that same thing to the Shinjin or to the Glend. Toriyama has expanded on their lifespan. They have a much, much longer lifespan than 1,000, that's for sure. And I think the difference between the Glend and demons in this demon realm is the fact that not only do they live longer, I think that they are naturally more adept at using magic in a way that these demons, such as Pansy and Glorio, literally cannot compare. So it's almost as if the magical potential that demons develop as a result of being developed within the demon realm is much, much more powerful within beings like Shin and Piccolo. And I think we're going to find out that that's very, very significant and that that's going to be something that they're going to expand on more in the future. I think the connection between Piccolo, the Namekians, Shin, and the Glend doesn't end with just these parallels that they're drawing between each character. I think that it goes much, much, much deeper than that. And I think it is really centered around the fact that the demon realm seems to have an effect on creatures from it that causes them to be more and more adept at using magic. So we cut to Goma, which I was really, really happy to get some more stuff with him because I do think he's an interesting character and I want to know what's going on in the hierarchy of the demon realm. But they don't really expand on like what exactly he's doing with his empire at this time. They basically just point out, which is still very interesting, that he intends to use Dende to make new Dragon Balls after he grows up. Now, I don't know why he thinks this plan will work. I mean, I think it's kind of a short-sighted plan. Of course, it is a homage to the fact that they did use Dende to create evil Dragon Balls and Super Dragon Ball Heroes. This whole thing is very, very Super Dragon Ball Heroes centric due to Super Dragon Ball Heroes being the original crew who had permission to play on concepts surrounding the demon realm. But it does make sense that Goma would try to replace Neva, considering that Neva's not going to live that much longer, and Goma doesn't like the rules that Neva has put in place for the Dragon Balls to begin with. So I did find this very, very interesting. I just think it's very, very short-sighted and that Goma couldn't actually pull this off. Now, you could see this as a means of the story explaining why Goma, despite being pretty evil, refuses to hurt Dende. And I kind of see that as what this is more than anything else, a homage to Super Dragon Ball Heroes, as well as an explanation as to why Goma is not actually going to hurt Dende. So we find out once our crew reaches the castle that Pansy is the princess of said castle, and we get this old school reference to whenever the Ox King, thanked Goku for rescuing Chi-Chi and then offered Chi-Chi's hand in marriage in the future as a reward for Goku's actions. We got to see that exact same thing with Pansy, which just goes to show you that Toriyama was definitely thinking about his old school works whenever he created Dragon Ball Daima. I mean, it's everywhere at this point. So the prediction that I made in my last video in terms of Glorio's intentions turns out to come true in this episode because we find out that Glorio did, in fact, have a bias towards the third demon realm and wanted to help them dethrone Goma so that way that they can crown the third demon realm king as the king of all demon realms and then unite the demon realms. So basically exactly what I thought was the case turned out to be true, but I think it is a bit more complicated than that because later on in the episode, Shin points out that Glorio was not completely honest about the fact that the king was the one that requested Goku to come there. It was actually Glorio who orchestrated the whole thing, which I find very, very interesting. Now, he could have even more shadowy hidden motives that I haven't picked up on yet, and it seems like that's kind of what they're hinting at. But more than anything, in my opinion, I think that Glorio is orchestrating all of this because he does not like the first demon realm. I think even he would prefer the third demon realm to rule, but it could be the case that he actually wants to trick the third demon realm to thinking that they're going to become king after Goma gets killed and then pull a Hail Mary and try to, of course, bestow the power upon someone else. That's also possible. So after Pansy's father offers Pansy's hand in marriage as a reward for his heroic actions, Pansy, of course, freaks out because she tells her father that that's not his decision to make. And then Goku makes it very clear very quickly that he's already married and has kids. And the reaction that he gets from Pansy and her father hit a little bit too close to home for me because I started a family very, very early in life, and by the time I was like 18 or 19, I looked like 14 or 15. This hit really close to home for me because I've got the same reaction out of people like a majority of my life because I've always looked younger than I actually am up until my 30s. So I just thought that was hilarious. I just related to that a lot. It felt like a personal joke on my part, and I loved it. So Goku has his power tested by the King's army. He tells his army that if they can defeat Goku, they'll get a raise. And I gotta say, the choreography in this fight was so amazing, and the animation itself, it was so amazing. If you haven't seen this fight yet, definitely go watch it because you can tell that they paid a lot of really close attention and care to the choreography for Dragon Ball Daima. It has a very, very strong kung fu film vibe, and it's just the moves that Goku himself uses are just so well coordinated and well done, and the animation is so fluid and smooth. I would definitely suggest that you go watch this fight. But Goku taps into his Super Saiyan power for just a split second, just long enough to just like send everybody flying, which I thought was really cool. He's starting to like tap into his chi again, which I thought was really, really cool. So the king sends this new demon character to go fetch Piccolo and Vegeta, which means we'll probably end up seeing them in the next episode, and I'm really, really excited for that. So the episode ends with Pansy, Glorio, Goku, and Shin crashing their ship that they got from the king due to having too much luggage on it thanks to Pansy. And I really love how the cast keep making these leaps into new territory and then having hiccups happen that prevent them from being able to reach their destination too quickly. That is very, very, very Journey to the West, because Journey to the West is literally about a huge, ridiculously long journey from China to India, and this kind of stuff happened to them constantly. They would have some sort of hiccup on the way. Either their horse would get eaten, or they'd have to fight a demon, or some Wukong would have some personal issues that he needs to work through, or they would go through some sort of terrain or territory that was like infested with demons, or just a very dangerous environment. It just happens all the time in Journey to the West, and I really, really like how Dragon Ball Daima is implementing that aspect of Journey to the West storytelling. It's a great way to prolong the story and give us more content. But anyway, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I think all the characters that are going to be traveling together with Goku in Goku's original crew, like the A-Team, I think that they have been established and that we're going to be moving into new territory for the series from now on in terms of the episodes, because all the characters have now been established. We know who they are. We kind of get an idea of their backstory. So now we're going to be moving much more into eventful territory in Dragon Ball Daima. I think things are going to start happening much, much faster than previously. I think the pacing is going to go way, way faster since all the characters have been introduced the way that they have. But I'm really excited for it. I really enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed my review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.